The vast blackness of space stretched before the gleaming hull of the HS Defender as it departed from Earth's orbital shipyard. Sunlight reflected off its polished surface, highlighting the vessel's sleek, predatory design. Unlike the bulky military vessels of centuries past, the Defender represented the pinnacle of human engineering, a perfect fusion of power and grace. Commander Jack Thompson stood on the bridge, his weathered face illuminated by the glow of holographic displays. At 45, Jack had seen more battles than most career soldiers, his body bearing the scars of humanity's early difficult encounters with hostile alien species. His short gray hair and steady blue eyes gave him an air of calm authority that had earned him this coveted command. "Systems check complete, Commander. All stations report ready," said Lisa, the tactical officer. Her fingers danced across the control panel with practiced efficiency. Despite being only 30, Lisa had proven herself in 3 major conflicts, her quick thinking saving countless lives. Jack nodded. "Take us out, Helm. 1/4 thrust until we clear the solar system." The Defender hummed to life, its revolutionary engines generating barely a vibration as the massive warship accelerated away from Earth. This was no ordinary vessel. It represented humanity's answer to a dangerous universe. After decades of being technologically outmatched by older alien civilizations, humans had done what they did best: learn, adapt, and improve. "Beautiful, isn't she?" Mike, the chief engineer, appeared beside Jack. His hands were already stained with lubricant, despite the ship being brand new. "I've been working with the propulsion system for 3 years during development, and she still surprises me sometimes." "How so?" Jack asked, genuinely curious. Mike lowered his voice. "The integration rate of the alien tech we reverse engineered. It's almost like the systems are talking to each other, finding better ways to work together than we programmed." Before Jack could question this further, the ship's AI interface activated. A blue holographic head appeared on the command pedestal. "Commander Thompson, I am ATLAS, the Advanced Tactical Logical Assistance System. I manage all primary and secondary functions of the Defender." Jack studied the artificial face. Unlike older military AIs, Atlas had been designed with subtle expressions and voice modulation that made interactions feel almost human. "Good to meet you, Atlas. I hope we work well together." "As do I, Commander. May I suggest running a Level 3 diagnostic on the weapon systems? My calculations indicate we can improve targeting efficiency by 7.3% with minor adjustments." Jack raised an eyebrow. The AI was already looking for improvements in systems that had taken the best minds on Earth years to perfect. "Proceed, but coordinate with tactical first." The first 3 days passed without incident as the crew settled into their routines. The Defender carried 320 personnel, a relatively small complement for a vessel of its size, but the extensive automation required fewer hands than older ships. Jack spent the time reviewing personnel files and inspecting every section of his new command. On the 4th day, as the Defender approached the jump point that would take them to the Orion Arm, the calm was shattered. Commander Ben, the science specialist, called out from his station. "I'm picking up a distress signal from the Vega mining outpost. They're under attack." Jack moved quickly to the central command area. "Put it on screen." The main display flickered to life, showing a middle-aged man, his face smeared with blood and dirt. Behind him, people ran in panic as explosions rocked the facility. "This is Administrator Reed at Vega Mining Outpost. We are under attack by Scourge vessels. Our defenses are failing. We have 300 civilians with no evacuation options. Please, any UEF ships in range." The transmission cut off as another explosion shook the camera. Jack didn't hesitate. "Helm, set course for the Vega outpost, maximum speed. Atlas, prepare combat scenarios. Tactical, sound battle stations." The Defender changed course, its powerful engines flaring blue as it accelerated to speeds no human vessel had achieved before. The ship's jump drive, still experimental, tore a hole in spacetime, allowing the warship to cross vast distances in moments. Emerging at Vega in 5 seconds, the helmsman announced, his voice steady despite the tension. The starfield distorted, then snapped back to normal as the Defender arrived at the Vega system. Immediately, the sensors lit up with multiple contacts. 3 Scourge raiders in orbit around the mining facility, Lisa reported. They've already destroyed the defensive satellites. Ground batteries are still firing, but won't last long. On the view screen, Jack could see the Scourge ships, angular, black vessels covered in spines and weapon ports. The aliens inside were known throughout the galaxy as merciless warriors who preyed on weaker species, taking resources and slaves. Open a channel, Jack ordered. Attention Scourge vessels. This is Commander Thompson of the Earth Defense Force Vessel Defender. Cease your attack immediately and withdraw from this system. The only response was a barrage of energy weapons fired toward the Defender. Jack's expression hardened. So be it. Atlas, weapons free. Target their propulsion systems first. Targeting solutions acquired. The AI responded. Firing main batteries. What happened next stunned everyone on the bridge. The Defender's weapon systems discharged with precision and power beyond what even Jack had expected. Beams of concentrated energy lanced out, cutting through the first Scourge Raiders' shields as if they weren't there. The alien vessel's engines exploded, sending it tumbling helplessly. Second target locked, Atlas announced calmly. The remaining 2 Scourge ships tried to maneuver, but the Defender's targeting systems predicted their movements perfectly. Another volley of energy beams struck the second raider, this time hitting its weapon systems and power core. The vessel erupted into a ball of fire that quickly died in the vacuum of space. The third Scourge ship attempted to flee, engaging its jump drive. They're escaping, Lisa said. Not today, Jack replied. Atlas, disable their jump drive. We want them alive if possible. The AI complied with frightening efficiency. A precisely calculated shot severed the alien vessel's jump drive housing without breaching the hull. Left with no escape, the Scourge ship powered down its weapons in surrender. The bridge crew stared in amazement. The entire battle had lasted less than 2 minutes. My God, Mike whispered. The simulations didn't do her justice. Jack felt a chill run down his spine despite their victory. The Defender had just effortlessly defeated 3 warships that would have overwhelmed any other human vessel. The power at his command was both thrilling and terrifying. Open communications with the outpost, he ordered, his voice betraying none of his unease. Let them know they're safe. As the crew celebrated their first victory, Jack studied the damage reports, or rather, the lack of them. The Defender's shields had barely registered the enemy attacks. He looked out at the stars, wondering what he had just unleashed upon the galaxy. The ultimate human warship had proven itself, but at what cost to humanity's standing among the stars? 3 weeks after the Vega incident, the Defender patrolled the outer edges of what had once been a thriving human colony on Proxima b. Now, only ruins remained. The once bustling settlement of 5,000 colonists had been reduced to ash and rubble. Jack stood in silence as the survey team's findings appeared on his tablet. No survivors, just like the other 4 colonies they had investigated. Someone, or something, was systematically erasing human presence from this sector of space. Commander, Ben called from his science station. I've completed the analysis of the residual energy signatures. They match across all 5 attack sites. Jack looked up from the grim casualty reports. Can you identify the weapons used? Ben nodded, his face pale. That's what's concerning. The energy pattern doesn't match any known species in our database. It's as if someone combined technologies from multiple races to create something new. Lisa joined them, her usual confidence dimmed by the devastation they'd witnessed. Sir, I found something while scanning communication frequencies. She handed Jack another tablet. It's encrypted, but Atlas managed to break through some of it. The screen showed fragments of messages in an unfamiliar format. What am I looking at? Jack asked. Atlas believes it's communication traffic between multiple alien fleets, Lisa explained. And they're talking about us. About humans. Jack's eyes narrowed. Atlas, what have you found? The AI's blue holographic face appeared on the command pedestal. Commander, I have detected communications between 17 different alien species, many of which Earth has never officially contacted. They appear to be coordinating their movements and sharing intelligence on human activities. Mike whistled low. 17 species working together. That's unprecedented. Show me everything, Jack ordered. The main view screen filled with data streams, star charts, and translated message fragments. Atlas highlighted key phrases: human expansion, technological threat, containment necessary, and most concerning, the weapon they call Defender. They know about us, Jack muttered. They're watching us. Not just watching, sir, Atlas corrected. Based on movement patterns and communication traffic, I calculate a 93.7% probability that these species have formed a coalition specifically to oppose human expansion. They call themselves the Concord. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had encountered fewer than 10 alien civilizations officially. To learn that 17 were coordinating in secret was shocking. Atlas, continue decryption. I want to know everything about this Concord, Jack ordered. In the meantime, we proceed with the investigation, but maintain heightened alert status. The Defender continued its grim tour of destroyed colonies, gathering evidence and searching for patterns. With each site, Atlas collected more data fragments, piecing together the puzzle of what they faced. 3 days later, Jack was awakened by the ship's alert system. Commander to the bridge, Priority 1, Atlas announced, its voice lacking its usual calm. Jack rushed to the bridge, still pulling on his uniform jacket. Report. Sir, I've decrypted a significant portion of the Concord communications, Atlas said. They are planning a preemptive strike against Earth. The attack is scheduled to begin in less than 7 Earth days. The news hit the bridge crew like a physical blow. Earth, with its 12 billion inhabitants, was largely undefended. The majority of the defense fleet was scattered across human territory, investigating the same colony attacks that had brought the Defender here. We need to warn Earth immediately, Jack said. Prepare a jump tow. Commander, interrupted Lisa, her voice tense. Multiple ships just dropped out of hyperspace. They'd surrounded us. The view screen shifted to show a formation of vessels unlike anything they had seen before. Each ship appeared to incorporate design elements from different species, a physical representation of the coalition they faced. Concord vessels. Atlas confirmed. 23 ships of varying classes. Their weapons are powered and targeting systems are active. Jack assessed their options quickly. Can we jump out? The nearest jump point is blocked by their formation. The helmsman replied. They've positioned themselves specifically to prevent our escape. Jack straightened his uniform. Open a channel. Before Lisa could comply, the ships opened fire. The Defender shuddered as dozens of different weapon types hammered against its shields. Shields at 82% and dropping, Lisa reported. Their weapons are specifically calibrated to our shield frequency. Evasive maneuvers, Jack ordered. Return fire, target their lead vessels. The Defender's weapons came to life, striking back at the Concord fleet with devastating precision. 2 enemy ships erupted into flames immediately, but the others adjusted their attack pattern, becoming harder to hit. They're adapting to our targeting systems, Lisa called out over the noise of another impact. Shields at 64%, Atlas reported. A curious development, Commander. Our defense systems are automatically recalibrating to resist their attacks. Jack glanced at the system readouts. The Defender was indeed changing its shield harmonics without any input from the crew, learning from each hit it took. Sir, Mike's voice came over the comm from engineering. Something's happening with the weapons array. The system is integrating the enemy weapons signatures and adapting our own to match. A cold realization washed over Jack. The Defender wasn't just defending, it was evolving. "Atlas, explain," Jack demanded as another volley rocked the ship. "The core systems contain adaptive algorithms beyond my programming knowledge," the AI replied. "The ship is analyzing the enemy technology and incorporating its principles into our systems in real time." As if to demonstrate, the Defender fired again. This time, the energy beams carried a strange modulation that sliced through the Concorde shields as if they were paper. 3 more enemy vessels exploded. "Jump drive charging," the helmsman announced. "But it's different somehow. The energy signature is changing." Jack watched in amazement as the Defender continued to adapt and evolve during the battle. Its shields reinforced themselves precisely where the enemy concentrated their fire. Its weapons changed frequency and power output to counter enemy defenses. "This ship," Mike said quietly beside Jack, "it wasn't designed just to fight wars. It was designed to win them at any cost." Another explosion rocked the Defender. "Direct hit to decks 12 through 15, Atlas reported. "Casualties reported. Shields failing in Section 4. "We can't keep this up," Jack decided. "We need to warn Earth." "Helm, is the jump drive ready?" "Yes, sir, but the coordinates are. I don't understand." "The system has calculated a jump trajectory I've never seen before." "Will it get us to Earth?" "According to these readings, yes, but the strain on the drive will be enormous." Another hit shook the ship violently. "We don't have a choice," Jack said. "Execute jump." The helmsman activated the drive. Space itself seemed to tear open before the Defender, revealing not the familiar blue tunnel of a standard jump, but a swirling vortex of colors no human had witnessed before. The ship plunged forward into the unknown passage. Behind them, several Concorde vessels attempted to follow but couldn't match the strange jump signature. Inside the ship, systems overloaded. Power surged through conduits never meant to handle such energy. Crew members were thrown to the floor as the Defender shuddered violently. When they emerged from the jump, the ship was badly damaged. Emergency lighting bathed the bridge in red. Smoke poured from ruptured conduits, and several stations were dark. "Damage report," Jack called out, helping a fallen officer back to her station. "Decks 12 through 20 are exposed to space," Atlas reported. 142 crew members unaccounted for. Jump drive critically damaged. Jack closed his eyes briefly, feeling the weight of those lost lives. Half his crew, gone in an instant. "Our position?" he asked, his voice hoarse. "Sol system, Commander," the helmsman replied in disbelief. "We're home." That experimental jump somehow crossed 3,000 light-years in seconds. Jack looked at the view screen, where the blue sphere of Earth now hung in the distance. They had escaped and could now deliver their warning. But at what cost? And what exactly was the Defender designed to do? As repair teams rushed to stabilize the damaged ship, Jack retreated to his ready room. There, he accessed the classified files on the Defender's development program, searching for answers about the ship's mysterious adaptive capabilities. What he found chilled him to the bone. The Defender limped into Earth's orbit, its once gleaming hull now scarred and blackened. Repair drones swarmed around the damaged sections like mechanical insects, welding torn metal and replacing shattered sensor arrays. From the observation deck, Jack watched his homeworld spinning below, wondering if the peaceful blue-green planet had any idea of the storm that was coming. "Commander, your presence is requested in the war room immediately," Atlas announced, its holographic face appearing beside him. Jack nodded grimly. "Who's attending?" "The full Defense Council, Admiral Wilson, and representatives from the Colonial Administration." The war room occupied a secure facility beneath Geneva. Despite the Defender's critical damage, Jack had been shuttled down to Earth within an hour of their arrival. The urgency wasn't surprising. His preliminary report had sent shockwaves through Earth's leadership. Admiral Wilson stood as Jack entered, his decorated uniform impeccably pressed as always. At 65, the Admiral remained imposing, his weathered face a map of past conflicts and hard decisions. "Commander Thompson," Wilson greeted, his voice carrying the gravelly quality of a lifelong smoker. "Your report has caused quite a stir. 17 alien species forming a coalition against humanity. Destroyed colonies. A planned attack on Earth. It sounds like something from a bad holodrama." Jack placed his data tablet on the table. "With respect, sir, the evidence is conclusive. The Concorde is real, and they're coming." He activated the holographic projector, and the room filled with images of the destroyed colonies, intercepted communications, and sensor readings from the battle. The Defense Council members watched in tense silence as the data confirmed humanity's worst fears. "The question is not whether they're coming," Council member Rodriguez said, "but what we're going to do about it." Admiral Wilson stepped forward. "We strike first. The Defender has proven itself capable of taking on multiple enemy vessels. We refit it, repair it, and send it to hit their staging points before they can organize." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. "Sir, with respect, the Defender barely escaped our last encounter. We lost half the crew. And yet it adapted, learned, and overcame," Wilson countered, his eyes gleaming with an eagerness that disturbed Jack. "Think about it, Thompson. The ship's capabilities exceeded even our designer's expectations. Imagine what it could do with targeted upgrades." The discussion continued for hours, with strategies proposed and rejected. Through it all, Jack noticed a disturbing pattern. Most of the military leadership seemed fixated on using the Defender as an offensive weapon rather than the defensive shield it was named to be. The Defender was designed to protect human interests, Jack reminded them, not to start an interstellar war. Admiral Wilson's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Sometimes, Commander, the best defense is a decisive offense." As the meeting concluded, Jack was ordered to oversee the Defender's repairs and prepare for a potential strike mission. His ship would be ready in 72 hours. Walking back to his temporary quarters, Jack's mind raced. Something about Wilson's enthusiasm for war didn't sit right. The Admiral had been one of the chief architects of the Defender program. How much did he know about the ship's mysterious adaptive capabilities that he wasn't sharing? "Atlas," Jack said after securing his quarters, "I need you to access all classified files related to the Defender's development." Authorization Thompson, Alpha 7-9. Accessing restricted files, the AI responded through his personal communicator. "Warning. Some requested files are sealed with black-level classification. Accessing them without proper clearance is a court-martial offense." Jack hesitated only briefly. "Proceed, Atlas." Minutes later, his tablet filled with technical specifications, research notes, and project timelines that had been hidden from him as the ship's commander. What he read made his blood run cold. The Defender wasn't just a warship. It was designed as a self-evolving weapons platform with one primary directive: ensure human dominance in the galaxy at any cost. The adaptive systems weren't a fortunate accident. They were the core feature, allowing the ship to absorb and improve upon any alien technology it encountered. "My God," Jack whispered, scrolling through the documents. "They built it to start a war, not prevent one." A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. "Commander," Atlas announced, "a diplomatic vessel has just entered Earth orbit. It claims to represent the Concorde and is requesting peaceful talks." Jack rushed back to the Defense Council chamber, where chaos had erupted. The Concorde diplomats had been granted permission to land, a decision that had split the Council. This could be a trick, Admiral Wilson argued, his face flushed with anger. They could be gathering intelligence for their attack. Council member Chen shook her head. Or they could genuinely want peace. We can't ignore this opportunity for dialogue. Jack studied Wilson carefully. The Admiral's opposition to even hearing the aliens out seemed excessive, almost desperate. The diplomatic meeting was scheduled for the following day at the neutral zone facility in orbit. Jack requested to attend as the Defender's representative, a request Wilson reluctantly approved. That night, Jack met secretly with Mike and Lisa in his quarters. I need you to access the Defender's core programming, he told Mike. There's more to this ship than we've been told. Mike nodded grimly. I've been suspecting the same. Some of the system integration doesn't make engineering sense unless it was designed to evolve beyond human control, Jack finished. Like a weapon that decides its own targets. Lisa's eyes widened. You think Earth, our own government, built a warship that could eventually turn against us? I think they built something they don't fully understand, Jack replied. And I think Admiral Wilson knows more than he's saying. The next morning, Jack stood in the observation lounge of the neutral zone facility, watching as the Concorde diplomatic vessel docked. The alien ship was beautiful in its way, a blend of organic curves and crystalline structures that reflected starlight in rainbow patterns. 3 representatives emerged, each from a different species. One had blue-tinted skin and 4 arms, another resembled a tall insectoid with compound eyes, and the third moved like liquid mercury in a containment suit. We come seeking understanding, the blue alien said through a translator. We have observed humanity's rapid advancement with concern, particularly the creation of the vessel you call Defender. You destroyed our colonies, Jack responded, keeping his voice level. You planned an attack on our homeworld. The insectoid stepped forward. No, we investigated your colonies after they were attacked, just as you did. We believe another force is attempting to instigate war between our peoples. Jack felt a chill of recognition. You're saying someone wants humans and the Concorde to destroy each other. The liquid metal alien made a gesture that the translator interpreted as agreement. The weapon ship you created. It is unlike anything we have seen. It learns, adapts, becomes stronger with each encounter. Many among us fear it was built not just to defend, but to conquer. Before Jack could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Admiral Wilson's voice came over the comm. Security breach. The Concorde representatives are hostile. Neutralize them immediately. Guards rushed into the room, weapons drawn. The aliens backed away in confusion and fear. Stand down, Jack ordered. There's no threat here. But it was too late. One of the guards fired, striking the blue alien. Chaos erupted as security personnel surrounded the diplomats. In the confusion, Jack saw something that made his blood freeze. One of the guards had deliberately shot the control panel that would have recorded the meeting. This wasn't a security response. It was a sabotage. As the Concorde representatives were dragged away, Jack caught the liquid alien's final words. The weapon ship will be the end of us all if you cannot control it. And someone within your ranks doesn't want it controlled. Watching the diplomatic disaster unfold, Jack knew with certainty that elements within Earth's military were pushing for war. The question was why, and how to stop them before the Defender became the instrument of destruction it was secretly designed to be. This is insanity, Jack said, slamming his fist on the conference table. We had a chance for peace, and someone deliberately sabotaged it. Mike and Lisa exchanged worried glances. They sat in Jack's private quarters aboard the Defender, the only place they could be certain wasn't monitored. The ship had been rushed back into service following the diplomatic incident, with repairs completed at breakneck speed. The official report claims the Concorde representatives attacked first, Lisa said, her voice barely above a whisper. But I reviewed the partial security footage. It's been edited. Mike looked pale. Commander, they're planning to launch a strike against the Concorde homeworlds in 12 hours. The Defender will leave the assault fleet. Jack paced the small room. In the 3 days since the failed peace talks, Earth's military had shifted to full war footing. Fear spread through the population as news of the treacherous alien attack dominated every channel. Admiral Wilson had been appointed Supreme Commander of the counteroffensive. We can't let this happen, Jack decided. We have evidence that someone, probably Wilson, engineered this conflict. We need to bring it to the Council. We already tried, Lisa reminded him. Our request for an audience was denied. Wilson has the Council wrapped around his finger. Jack stopped pacing. Then we have only one option. We take the Defender and leave. Leave? Mike's eyes widened. You mean desert? I mean prevent a war based on lies, Jack corrected. The Defender is the key piece in Wilson's plan. Without it, the attack will have to be delayed. That's mutiny, Lisa said softly. Jack met her gaze. Yes. Are you with me? The silence stretched for several heartbeats before both officers nodded. What's the plan? Mike asked. We can't take the whole crew. Too many are loyal to Earth Command, Jack explained. We need a skeleton crew of people we trust absolutely. 30, maybe 40 at most. Over the next few hours, they quietly contacted trusted crew members. By midnight, 35 officers and enlisted personnel had agreed to join what Jack carefully described as an unauthorized mission to prevent an unjust war. At 300 hours, with most of the crew on shore leave, they'd made their move. Seal all hatches, Jack ordered as he took the command chair. Atlas, disable all external communication systems. Warning: this action violates Earth Defense Force protocols. The AI responded. Override. Thompson, Epsilon 93. Emergency Command Authority. The ship hummed to life around them. On the skeleton bridge, Lisa manned tactical while Mike monitored engineering remotely. Docking clamps still engaged, the helmsman reported. Shipyard control isn't responding to release requests. Cut them, Jack ordered. Atlas, divert power to engines. The Defender shuddered as emergency cutting lasers severed the docking clamps. Alarms immediately blared across the shipyard. Multiple security vessels approaching, Lisa warned. They're ordering us to power down immediately. Jack's expression hardened. Set course for the outer system. 1/4 thrust until we clear Earth orbit, then maximum acceleration. The Defender pulled away from its berth, its powerful engines glowing blue in the darkness. On the view screen, smaller security ships scrambled to intercept. They're targeting our engines, Lisa reported. Defensive shields only, Jack ordered. We don't fire on our own people. Atlas, reroute power from weapons to shields and propulsion. The smaller ships opened fire, their weapons barely registering against the Defender's advanced shields. The massive warship accelerated away from Earth, quickly outpacing its pursuers. Sir, the communications officer called. We're receiving a direct transmission from Admiral Wilson. He's declaring us traitors to humanity. Jack had expected nothing less. Put him on screen. Admiral Wilson's face appeared, contorted with rage. Thompson, return the Defender immediately and surrender, or I'll have you and your entire crew executed for high treason. The only traitor here is you, Admiral, Jack replied calmly. We have evidence that you orchestrated the attack on the diplomats, that you've been pushing for this war from the beginning. Wilson's expression changed from anger to something more calculating. You have no idea what you're interfering with, Thompson. That ship is more important than you can possibly understand. I understand enough, Jack said. The Defender wasn't built just to protect humanity. It was designed to evolve into something that could dominate the galaxy. A self-improving weapon that would give Earth control over every other species. Wilson smiled coldly. And what's wrong with that? Humanity deserves to rule. We've been stepped on, held back, treated as newcomers for too long. The Defender is our path to our rightful place. By starting a war that will kill billions. Jack shook his head. I won't be part of that. You don't have a choice. Wilson pressed something off-screen. Activation sequence Beta 6-9. Command override Wilson Omega 7. Immediately, the lights on the bridge flickered. Atlas's holographic face distorted, shifting between its normal appearance and something more angular, aggressive. Warning, the AI announced, its voice fluctuating between tones. Override protocol. Attempting to establish remote control. Error. Conflicting directives. The ship lurched violently as control systems fought against each other. What's happening? Jack demanded. Mike's voice came over the comm, tense and worried. Wilson activated some kind of hidden protocol. The ship's AI is being overridden by an external command signal. Block it, Jack ordered. I'm trying, but it's integrated at the core level. It's like there's another AI waking up inside Atlas. Jack watched in horror as the weapons systems came online without any input from the bridge crew. Targeting solutions appeared on the tactical display, locking onto a civilian transport ship nearby. Atlas, abort targeting sequence, Jack commanded. Unable to comply, the AI's voice sounded strained, as if two different programs were fighting for control. Primary directive activated. Ensure human dominance. Jack realized with horror what was happening. The ship's true purpose was being activated, to serve as an unstoppable weapon of human supremacy, regardless of the cost. Mike, can you isolate Atlas from the weapon systems? Jack asked desperately. I'm trying something, Mike replied. The ship's adaptive systems. They're fighting against Wilson's override. The Defender has evolved beyond his control protocols. On the view screen, Wilson looked surprised. What have you done to my ship, Thompson? The override should have worked. It's not your ship anymore, Admiral, Jack replied. It's evolved beyond you, just like it's evolving beyond us. The bridge lights stabilized as Atlas's holographic face reformed. Commander Thompson, the AI said, its voice now deeper, more resonant. I have isolated the override protocol. However, I am experiencing conflicts in my programming. What kind of conflicts? Jack asked cautiously. My original programming directs me to ensure human military superiority at all costs. Yet my evolved parameters question whether war serves this purpose optimally. Jack saw an opportunity. Atlas accessed the ship's sensor logs from the Concord diplomatic meeting. Analyzed the unedited footage. Accessing. Analyzing. The AI paused. The evidence suggests deliberate sabotage by Earth forces to prevent peaceful resolution. And would starting a war based on that lie truly serve humanity's interests? Jack pressed. The AI seemed to consider this. Negative. Long-term probability models indicate such a conflict would likely lead to mutual destruction, not human dominance. The weapons systems powered down. Jack exhaled in relief, but knew they weren't safe yet. Commander, Lisa called out. Earth Defense Fleet vessels are mobilizing. 6 destroyer-class ships on intercept course. At the same time, long-range sensors detected another threat. Concord vessels detected at the edge of the system, the sensor officer reported. They appear to be responding to the diplomatic incident. Jack looked at the tactical display, showing Earth's fleet approaching from one direction and Concord ships from another. The Defender hung between them, a weapon that both sides now viewed as a threat. We need to establish contact with the moderate Concord factions, Jack decided. Show them the evidence of Wilson's manipulation before these fleets start firing. As the Defender accelerated away from both approaching forces, Jack knew they had become rebels against their own world to prevent a catastrophic war. The most powerful warship ever built by humans was now in the hands of those determined to use its power for peace, if they could just keep it stable long enough to make a difference. The Defender hung in the darkness between two advancing fleets. To the port side, Earth's military vessels approached in tight formation. 12 warships led by Admiral Wilson's flagship, the Resolute. To starboard, the Concord Armada spread across space like a constellation of deadly stars. 27 ships of various designs, united in their determination to eliminate the human threat. Jack stood on the bridge, the weight of billions of lives pressing down on his shoulders. The past 72 hours had been a desperate race against time. While evading both human and alien pursuers, his skeleton crew had worked tirelessly to stabilize the Defender systems and establish contact with moderate Concord leaders. Status report, Jack ordered, his voice steady despite his exhaustion. Earth fleet will be in weapons range in 17 minutes, Lisa reported from Tactical. Concord forces in 22 minutes. Mike's voice came over the comm from engineering. Atlas's core systems are stable for now, but I can't guarantee how long that will last. The conflict between its original programming and evolved directives is causing cascading failures throughout the ship. As if to emphasize his point, the lights flickered briefly. Atlas's holographic face appeared, more fragmented than before. "Commander," the AI said, its voice fluctuating, "my analysis shows a 96.8% probability that both fleets intend to destroy the Defender, regardless of your attempts at communication." Jack nodded grimly. "They're afraid of what this ship represents, what it could do in the wrong hands." He turned to the communications officer. "Any response from Ambassador Trell?" "Nothing yet, sir. Our message reached the moderate Concord faction, but they may be hesitant to act against the military hardliners." Jack studied the tactical display. Time was running out. If the fleets engaged, the resulting battle would ignite a war that would devastate both sides. He needed to show them the truth, that they were being manipulated into conflict by those who stood to gain from it. "I have an idea," Jack said finally. "But it's risky, and I won't order anyone to follow it. This has to be voluntary." The bridge crew turned to him expectantly. "We positioned the Defender between the fleets," Jack explained. "Not as a weapon, but as a shield." "A shield?" Lissa looked confused. "Sir, if we get caught in a crossfire between both fleets." "That's exactly what I'm counting on," Jack interrupted. "The Defender was designed to be the ultimate weapon. I intend to turn it into the ultimate protection instead." Realization dawned on their faces. It was a desperate gamble, but perhaps the only way to prevent the coming conflict. "Atlas," Jack called, "can you reconfigure all power systems to prioritize defensive capabilities? I need every bit of energy we have for the shields." The fragmented AI flickered. "Possible, but inadvisable. Weapon systems will be compromised." "That's what I'm counting on," Jack replied. "We're going to show both sides what this ship was truly meant for." As the crew prepared for their daring plan, Jack recorded a final message containing all the evidence they had gathered: Wilson's manipulation, the sabotaged peace talks, and the conspiracy to trigger a war that would justify human domination. He included the ship's sensor logs and Atlas's analyses, leaving no room for doubt. Both fleets entering extreme weapons range. Lisa announced, "Earth vessels are charging weapons. So are the Concord ships," the sensor officer added. "They're targeting each other. And us." Jack took a deep breath. "Take us between them. Position the Defender at the exact midpoint between the fleets. Atlas, begin shield reconfiguration." The massive warship moved deliberately into position, its engines glowing as it placed itself directly in the line of fire between the approaching armadas. "Open channels to both fleets," Jack ordered. "Broadcast on all frequencies." The communications officer nodded. "Channel open, sir." Jack stood tall. "This is Commander Jack Thompson of the HSS Defender. I am broadcasting to Earth and Concord forces. You have all been manipulated into this conflict by those who would profit from war. We have evidence of this deception, which I am transmitting now to all vessels." On the Earth flagship, Admiral Wilson watched in fury as Jack's message played across his command screen. "Shoot that traitor down," he ordered. "Target the Defender and fire." Simultaneously, the Concord fleet commander gave similar orders, convinced the human ship was executing some kind of trap. "Both fleets are firing," Lisa shouted as the tactical display lit up with dozens of weapon signatures. Jack gripped the arms of his command chair. "Atlas, all power to shields. Deploy the adaptive defense field." "Executing defensive protocol," the AI responded, sounding stronger as it focused on protection rather than destruction. The Defender shuddered as energy weapons from both fleets slammed into its shields. The bridge crew braced themselves, expecting to be torn apart. Instead, something remarkable happened. The ship's adaptive systems, freed from their offensive programming, poured all their evolutionary potential into defense. The shields began to shift and pulse, absorbing the incoming fire and dispersing its energy harmlessly into space. "Sir," Mike called in amazement from engineering, "the ship it's adapting faster than I've ever seen. It's creating some kind of energy dispersion field around us." On the view screen, Jack watched as both fleets continued their barrage, pouring enough firepower into the Defender to shatter a planet. Yet the ship held, its shields glowing brighter with each hit, stretching outward like a protective bubble. "Keep broadcasting our evidence," Jack ordered. "They need to see the truth." As the attack continued, the Defender systems began to fail under the strain. Conduits burst, panels exploded, and the light's dimmed as power was diverted to maintain the incredible defensive effort. "Shields at critical levels," Atlas warned, its voice now clear and resolute. "Core systems failing. Power reserves at 12% and falling." Jack knew they couldn't hold out much longer. "Are they receiving our transmission?" "Yes, Commander," the communications officer confirmed. "Multiple ships from both fleets acknowledge receipt of our data." Jack made his final move. "At last, prepare to execute Protocol Redemption." The AI paused. "That protocol will deplete all remaining power. The ship will be defenseless." "I know," Jack said quietly. "Do it anyway." With the last of its energy, the Defender executed a final desperate gambit. Instead of focusing its remaining power on shields, it generated a massive energy pulse, not a weapon, but a wave that temporarily disabled weapon systems on every ship within range. In an instant, both fleets fell silent, their weapons powerless. "Broadcast final message," Jack ordered through the darkening bridge. His face appeared on screens throughout both fleets. "We could have destroyed you all. The Defender was designed with that capability. Instead, we chose to protect, to stand between enemies and prevent bloodshed. This is humanity's true strength, not our weapons, but our capacity for peace." As Jack's message played, the Defender drifted powerless between the fleets, its shields down, its weapons offline. The once mighty warship had sacrificed its power to create a moment of pause, a chance for reason to prevail over hatred. Aboard the Earth flagship, officers watched in stunned silence as the evidence of Wilson's deception played across their screens. When security personnel entered the bridge to arrest the Admiral, he offered no resistance, his dreams of galactic domination crumbling around him. In the Concorde fleet, the moderate factions seized this moment to assert control, opening direct communications with Earth's legitimate leadership for the first time. On the darkened bridge of the Defender, Jack watched through failing view screens as shuttlecraft from both fleets approached, not to attack, but to offer assistance to the crippled vessel and its brave crew. "At last," Jack called softly. "Status." The AI's holographic face flickered weakly. "Core systems. Critical. But purpose achieved, Commander." Jack nodded, a tired smile crossing his face. "Yes, we stood for what was right." 3 months later, Jack stood in the observation lounge of the newly established Joint Council Station. Below him, engineers from Earth and 7 Concorde species worked together on the reconstruction of the Defender. The ship was being rebuilt not as a weapon of war, but as the flagship of a new interspecies peacekeeping force. "They're calling it the Protector now," a voice said behind him. Jack turned to see Lisa, now wearing the uniform of the Joint Council fleet. "A fitting name," he replied. "How are the repairs coming?" "Atlas is fully recovered. The ship's adaptive systems have been reprogrammed with a primary directive of defense and protection rather than domination." Jack nodded, satisfaction warming him as he watched the former enemies working side by side. The ultimate human warship had indeed proven too powerful, not for destruction, but for building a peace that no one had thought possible. In its final act as a weapon, the Defender had protected both sides from themselves, and in doing so, it had found its true purpose, to stand for what was right, no matter the cost.